One of my favorite people I've enjoyed getting to know so much is Kenn Sparks, who's going to give our stewardship testimonial today. Kenn has got the most beautiful voice. I covet it so much. It's so beautiful. And he's an expert on cars, too. So anytime I'm interested in car things, he's the guy I go to.
Thank you, Malcolm. My name is Kenn Sparks. I am a new member of the Stewardship Committee and a fairly recent newcomer to the congregation here at Grace, having just moved home to San Francisco about a year ago. But my journey to Grace began quite a long time ago. It started in the early 60s when my dad first brought me up to Nob Hill to see Grace Cathedral, which was still under construction then in the early 1960s. I was about 8 years old, and it was a pretty awesome sight for a little kid. And I credit my love of Gothic cathedrals and Gothic architecture to that very experience, but especially the love that I developed for Grace Cathedral. It would be years before I actually attended a service here, and by then I was living on the other side of the country. It was the early 80s, at least I think it was. It was Easter. I was home for a visit, and so I came to Grace. The service began not with the choir, but with trombones, trumpets, clarinets. It was a raucous sound. The procession was led by Turk Murphy and the San Francisco Jazz Band. I thought I was in a New Orleans funeral for a moment. And the service concluded with everybody out on the plaza. The music continued. So my very first experience at Grace opened with jazz and ended with dancing. Now, I had come to Grace that day a seeker. Like so many other gay Christians, church had once been the most joyous part of the week, but had become a place, for me anyway, of rejection, or at best, tolerance. So for years, I drifted away. When I decided a year ago that I would come home to San Francisco to stay, I wondered if I would find a place for me here at Grace. So I thought I would ease my way in. First with that wonderful gang at the Vine on Wednesday nights, and then with the chanting Vesper group on Sunday evenings, and finally, the Sunday morning Eucharist. And I have to tell you, something totally unexpected has begun inside of me since becoming a member of the congregation. My heart, which for years had toughened up to deal with the world, has begun to soften. So my stewardship pledge comes from a very grateful heart. And becoming 100% Grace is how we sustain this unique and wonderful place where all are welcomed, celebrated, and loved. Peace.